Yo, what's good? It's Miss Stora. MultiVersus is officially coming back, y'all. And May 28th is the release date. I'm so hyped to have my favorite platform fighter finally be making its return. The wait is going to be agonizing for sure, but in celebration and in the meantime, I wanted to make a video going over my personal MultiVersus wishlist. It has characters that I'd like to see get added to the game, but also features or changes to the game in general that I'm hoping will be there at launch or sometime after. To hop right into things, in terms of the characters I want to see the most is a toss-up between the Flash or any of the Teen Titans, but preferably for me, Robin, Cyborg, or Raven. Robin would be a really dope assassin class character, having various gadgets similar to Batman like his batarangs and grappling hook, but also having his own gadgets such as the bow staff and bolas. I can see him being even more agile than Batman, but lighter weight, so even more of a glass cannon overall. They could even give him a red X skin, which you know is gonna sell like crazy if it makes it to the game. Cyborg would be a bruiser class, not being the fastest of course, but being heavy, so harder to take out while having these really big impactful attacks, as well as a medium to long range sonic cannon. I'd really love for his down air to be that like sonic cannon that he has in his boot that he uses against Gizmo. It'd be so disrespectful to hit someone with that and just have this big blue blast just send them to the bottom of the screen. It'd be great. Raven could be a mage or support class. I could see it going either way, using lots of telekinesis on objects, allies, and enemies at medium range, while having dark energy blast as an option for long range, with the ability to also create barriers like we see several times in the show. That's where I think her potentially being a support could come in alongside the telekinesis on her allies. All this, of course, comes with the weakness of not having many options at close range. The Flash, being an assassin class character, obviously could be great at getting in and dishing out these crazy fast melee combos. He wouldn't rack up too much damage with any one exchange, but because of his speed, he would have the tools to win neutral just a bit easier than most of the other casts. So he's like constantly racking up damage bit by bit, a hit and run specialist a lot like Sonic is in Smash. For some other tools, he could have a long range lightning throw, and maybe even be able to phase through projectiles as well, to solidify him as this like aggressive rush down character. And just to list off a few more characters I'd be hyped to see, Samurai Jack would be a dope sword fighter, as we only have 2 currently in the roster. Static Shock as a long range lightning user, be really cool to have him. He hasn't gotten a lot of love recently. Ed and Eddie and the Animaniacs, I'd see both of them functioning like Pokemon Trainer or Pyramithra. Sub-Zero as someone who really pushes the game's ice status debuff to its absolute limits, and Freakazoid could be a lot like how I described the Flash, but just a lot sillier as it is, you know? And Zatanna, who would, you know, of course have a bunch of different spells that she could cast, but I really like the idea that maybe each of those spells also could have a string of button prompts to go with it, that you have the option to input that prompt backwards for the spells to be even more effective. As for changes, I'd be down to see some new ways to interact with the game socially, such as being able to make like your own clan or guild. Of course, this could be renamed to something a bit more fitting to the feel of MultiVersus overall, such as crews or squads. They could even bring new game modes into this. Imagine something like a crew versus crew mode, where a series of 2v2 or 1v1 matches happen, and the side with the most wins ends up taking the whole thing. And just like there being a ranked mode for 1v1 and teams, there could also be ranked for this as well, with a queuing system similar to what MOBAs already have. Everyone in the crew, squad, or whatever it ends up being called would get rewards based on what rank they end up finishing the season at, such as exclusive banners, badges, and profile icons. Although I definitely don't think that certain rewards and customization things should be locked behind this, such as skins, announcer packs, and ring out VFX. There could even be a small boost to the overall rank of the group based on the individual ranks of each of its members. to make this fair in terms of earning the rewards, there should be, in my opinion at least, a pretty small limit on the amount of people that could join a given group. I think somewhere like 16 to 32 people sounds ideal for me. Also, while I think the perk system is easily one of MultiVersus' best features that helps set it apart from other platform fighters, specifically the signature perks that can drastically change how certain characters play, I will say that some of those signature perks really need some reworking in order to be more impactful. It sucks because for many characters, one of them ends up being the clear choice to pick, and not in like a optimization or like meta build sense. Nah, just that some of them are either really ineffective or plain out not very fun, as they don't really add anything interesting or worthwhile to the character. One example of this comes to mind with Stripe, who I played a lot back when the game was online. The only signature perk that Stripe has is that the only one that I found useful, at least, is that he has this one called Feeding After Midnight. It's a perk which makes it so that if he has a debuff, he could spread the debuff to his opponent with a certain move, also clearing himself of that status effect in the process, right? His other signatures, at least in my opinion, felt nowhere near impactful as this one, right? One of them is only usable in 2v2s, and it just gives you a small speed boost. That's really all it does for a short time. And the other one allows you to create bigger explosions with one of his moves. That's pretty useful, but to me, this required too much setup, and it was pretty obvious to an opponent when you were going to use it. And while I'm pretty sure something like this is going to end up being in the game, enhanced spectator mode and replay mode would be really dope to have, with built-in tools to make cool clips such as different camera angles, effects, zooms, and playback rates. It'd go a long way in terms of getting the game out there for people to see, because especially nowadays on short form content platforms like TikTok, a few viral clips showcasing some moments of how fun your game is can have it blow up in terms of popularity. It's happened recently with games like Lethal Company, Palworld, and Helldivers 2. Games that are of course great and deserving, more than deserving, of having big player bases, but definitely have some of those viral clips to thank for a lot of their popularity. Lastly, based on the FAQ, I do think it's unlikely, but it'd be really cool if, similar to Helldivers 2 and some other games, if battle passes and MultiVersus also never expired. I can't tell you how much of a relief it is to log on to Helldivers 2 after having not played it for a while, because Final Fantasy VII Rebirth did just come out and I've been playing that a lot, and to not only see a new battle pass, right, full of exciting new rewards for me to unlock, but also see that my previous battle passes that I was making progress on are still there for me to just go back to at any time, so I can continue unlocking stuff on them that I was actually really forward to getting. It's just more options, more cool stuff for me to chase after. And that's gonna do it for my wish list at the moment. But I wanna know what characters, features, or changes you wanna see most in MultiVersus. What do you think this game needs in order to be successful on launch? Be sure to let me know in the comments. And as always, I'll catch you on the next one. Y'all be easy. Peace.